Alright, what's going on, guys? Today in this video I just want to briefly talk about some gearing methods that you guys can use before Mythic Week comes out, Mythic Plus season, and how I got to like 609 item level. Now obviously some of this is luck. I was funneled a little bit by my guild. I think it was on accident. I was actually thinking about this today. I don't think we have a lot of leatherwares, so I did get a handful of heroic pieces. Obviously some specific tank trinkets that ended up dropping were awarded to me. We were able to clear 6 bosses in the raid, meaning that I have enough crests to be able to send 2 crafts, essentially. I know maybe some people argue waiting, but it's a video game, I don't really care. But I want to talk about 2 methods in particular that you can actually do to help bolster your item level a little bit. So starting out, I wanted to talk about Epic Battlegrounds before you turn off the video. The thing about Epic BGs is sometimes they actually feel almost PvE-like. I haven't PvP'd seriously in many years. I'm not a fan of doing it anymore, but what I found really nice is that if you do an Epic BG and you win, you get a quest that it'll actually give you 9 of these Forged Gladiators heraldries. These are required for PvP crafts, and what they do is they allow you to make up to 610 item level gear. So for example, I have these Algari competitors leather gloves on, with ideal stats at 610 item level. I'm not losing out on anything by having these equipped. Obviously, these are a tier item or a tier set piece that, you know, I could equip next week. But as of right now, we don't have tier, and item level is king. So making these was really nice. I also made 606 legs. I couldn't find anyone to make... well, actually, I ended up making these. But I couldn't find anyone who could make 610 guaranteed quite yet. I could have worked a little bit harder, but again, I know I'm probably going to replace these in the near future. But basically how it works is you need to queue up for an Epic Battleground. Once you win, you're going to get a quest. Now, if you lose a couple in a row, that's just the price you got to pay. I think it took me 4 Epic Battlegrounds before my team actually won, and ironically enough, we won Winter Grasp defending somehow, but we did it. And this has allowed me to basically fill in some pretty small pieces. I was currently, I was wearing at the time 597 pants, and I was wearing 593 gloves. So these were pretty significant item level bumps. They also obviously have better stats. Crit versus kind of king for specifically the Brewmaster Monk. So that's one way that you could, technically you could keep farming. You can keep farming like Conquest. I mean, I guess there's a cap, but you can farm enough Conquest to essentially like farm a bunch of 610 gear if you really want. If you like doing PvP, that's not a bad idea. The only thing that I will say is it does cost a bit of gold to make. Now, the PvP items in general aren't actually expensive to make. It's the recipes that people are selling them for, which is the problem. So for me, I ended up making these myself because I found it just a lot less of a hassle to like try to find someone in trade chat who was willing to make them and or spend concentration to make them. But how you would do that is you go to armor, and you can do this for any class, but in this case it's leather. You can go to chest. It's this Algari competitor's leather chest piece, or any Algari competitor's item. You click on this and you're going to see that it requires 5 of these forged heraldries. Now this one obviously costs 5, so that means you can only make 1 5-piece and 1 4-piece. Now again, you can keep farming these to get additional items to craft with, but I ended up only going for 2. Again, these items aren't expensive. The missives can be, but people are selling the recipes to make these items for 10, 20, 30,000 gold, depending. But if you can find a crafter who can do it, kudos to you, and it'll get you some nice 606 to 610 gear. So that is one way. Now, the other way that I've actually accumulated a lot of my items this week are delves. And I know delves are kind of in some hot water right now, but I don't think delves are a bad thing. They're actually really lucrative, especially if you've been decent about keeping up on farming keys. And what I mean by keys is if you're in the currency tab, you're going to see these restored coffer keys. There's a couple ways to get them. First, you can get these coffer key shards. These generally, from my understanding, come from world quests. But basically, world quests will reward them. And then if you get 100, you can craft a key. Or by doing like big weekly events. And so there's a couple that you could do. You could do the theater trope. This starts actually in a couple minutes. You can only do it once a week, though, in terms of like getting a key from it. But it's pretty much on the hour, every hour. You can go here. It All you have to do is a little bit of like RP, you kill some mobs, you do a little dance, then you're done. Pretty simple. In some of the other zones, if you do the special assignments, and what I mean by that is there's actually like these world quests, and as you complete the world quests, it'll unlock a special assignment in the zone. If you complete that special assignment, you'll get a coffer key. There's also these Azurite little world soul memories that pop up. If you have Radiant Echoes, like I do right here, you can go and, I believe, get more coffer key shards, if not even keys in general. And the keys are really great because when you do a bountiful delve, you can actually unlock 603 gear, which is really good. But the 603 gear is not really the reason I've been able to gear up fairly high. What you're aiming for is, or hoping for, is there's actually a low percentage chance that you can obtain a map, a delve map from one of these chests. Now, Wowhead states that they're about a 4% drop chance. I've only seen one of them, but I also have heard accounts of people having 6. So you can kind of get them. You can farm them. You could try to get them every day by just running your bountiful delves. From my understanding, they only come from bountiful delves, so you're pretty limited on what you can do them from. But if you find one of those maps and you use the item, your next delve will have a bonus chest at the end that doesn't require a coffer key to open up. And when you open it up, it's going to reward not just a 603 piece like you would normally get, but also a 610 item. For me specifically, I was able to actually, luckily enough, loot a weapon called the Bedrock Breaker. It has crit haste on it, not the best stats for Brewmaster specifically, but a very powerful item. And it allowed me to actually, at the time, like upgrade other items in my bags pretty quickly. And it saves you on crests and Valor Stones. So if you get lucky, or what I recommend is being consistent, make sure you're doing your bountiful delves every day, you have the chance to actually get 610 gear from this, which is a really powerful method for gearing up quickly. So those are the two methods that I have found that you can go above raiding and above farming Mythic Zeros to get good loot. So I hope that helps. Not sure if these are going to be all that useful in a couple weeks from now, just because Mythic Season's going to be out. Raid bosses are going to fall down a lot easier. Mythic raiding is going to be available. We're going to have a couple great vaults already under our belt. But if you're looking for that extra little push, specifically leading into the Mythic Plus week, which will start on Tuesday, these are some alternative options for you. So I hope that helps. I hope that makes sense. If you have any questions about anything, let me know down in the comments below. And without further ado, I will catch you all in the next one. Peace.